Hello and welcome back to the construction of this delightful little kit, Microaces Fokker D7. It's time to attach the lower wings and to install the electronics, I think, today. That's the target. Before I do so, a word about the fuselage construction and what to do if you make a mistake. Well, when I looked along the fuselage, I noticed a slight twist in the front end. It's hardly surprising given that you're trying to fold all the sides around a sort of floppy foam crutch, I suppose. So what to do about it? Well, I had read that you can use lighter fuel to undo the U-hoop paw, and I thought I'll give it a go, and what I used was an old can of gas fluid. I squirted that onto a cotton bud and wet the inside where I thought it needed releasing the tension to readjust it, with the intention of gluing it back together. And what I discovered was, yes, it will deactivate it, and while I held it without the twist, just eyeing it up, it then reactivated. So as the gas fluid evaporates off, the U-hoop paw sticks again. So I didn't have to add any more glue, which is good. It's just gone back into the correct alignment. So that's worth knowing. The other thing is, on one of John's videos, I saw that he used a cake making or a model crafting ball attachment to run along the edge of the wings, basically crush the leading and trailing edges to alleviate and remove the white, stark white foam that you can see on them. And I looked all over. I do have one, but could I heck find it? I looked all over, couldn't find it, and then I remembered I've got a centre finding set from for my milling machine, and this is one of the attachments that you use to find edges on a job when you're milling. Perfect, it turns out, for that job in hand. I've actually used it on the leading edge and the trailing edge of the horizontal starboard elevator, and I think you can see it removes a great deal of that stark white edge that you sometimes get. So I'm rather pleased with that. I'm going to cut the wings out and do the same thing. As John mentioned in the video, the only thing you have to take extra care is that you don't run off, because if you run off you're going to crush the wing and it'll look awful. So I'll cut out the lower wings. These two have a slight variation from the 3-channel in that there's no dihedral, as the original lacked dihedral as well. The original aircraft had no dihedral upper or lower wing, and obviously if you can do the same on the model, it looks more realistic. I'm sure the 3-channel flies equally as well. Of course, it doesn't have the extra weight of another servo, which helps. So all you do with this device, or easier to get, would be a clear modelling tool with they normally have different diameter balls on the end of them. It's just run it along the edge, following the edge, and basically it crushes the 2mm or the mil dapron. It's important to do both sides, otherwise you'll induce a warp, I think. Just slight pressure, and you can feel it going. Flick that over. Isn't the printing delightful on these kits? don't know what John's background is actually, how he came into doing this. I'd suspect something from the printing game. I don't know. The quality of these is excellent. Let's compare the two. Let's see if we can do that. So the upper one, I can get it to focus. A little bit too close, I think. So the upper one has had a crushed edge, and the lower one hasn't. It's quite noticeable. Let's cut these out. I think it's, well, I believe it's these two smaller parts here. And there are two ribs there. And then these are the ones that are, well, we'll leave those because they're the ones that are used for the brace itself in the centre. I'll just put them to one side. That's the two ribs that form the shape. Now it's not clear to me exactly where these go. I wonder if I'm missing something here. Well, obviously they form the shape like that. Let's have a look at the stickers to go with them. Don't know if you can see them actually, that's them there. Let's have a look at the stickers. And according to my instructions, they are part S17. Well, that can't be right because they're the ones for they're clearly bigger. If I show you them, it must be them. Must be them. S7, not 17. 17's for the upper wing. I mean, little errors like this are bound to creep in. When you're doing something as complicated as this. Just out of curiosity, I wonder how many parts are actually in this kit. Seems to be quite a few. Right. Now, I struggle with the stickiness of these, to be quite honest with you. See if I can do this. Well, they're clearly the right ones because they fit them. So the numbering must be incorrect. Ah, there you go. I think I've managed to do that. I can live with that. Do the second one now. So, review of the kits so far, they're excellent. Any problems I've had have been minor ones, mainly due to my inexperience on working with this medium. One or two printing differences regarding numbering of the parts. I think there was a discrepancy on the strengtheners for the inside of the fuselage, and I've just found one there on the printed sheet. I don't know how old this kit is, and I don't know if those small errors, and they are small, have been corrected. There's no great outrage with it at all. I think it's a kit that John can be proud of. If it doesn't fly straight away, it'll be down to me, because I have seen these models fly really well. So there we go, there's the two rib strengtheners done. Once again, I'm using this homemade applicator to put the glue on. I think it would be too clumsy just using the nozzle. For me anyway. I know that on the videos I've watched, John actually just does just that. Obviously he's got a lot more experience than I have working with this stuff. You can see what I'm doing here. And we're going to use it as a contact adhesive. And by that I mean I'm going to put a little on each surface and then leave it to dry for a few seconds. And by doing that, I think you get a far superior bond than just putting it on as a cement on one surface. It doesn't take much of this stuff. Got a mind of its own. Hairs of adhesive sticking to it. Right, this last bit. This one's stuck to us. There you go. Get in, ship. Showing me age there. Blue Peter, go with Noakes, me hero. Actually, you know, he was my hero because he made things, and that got me really keen. He was a TV presenter on British TV on a children's sort of magazine show. But Noakesy always got the jobs of making a project. And from a young age I had my poor mum saving squeezy bottles and coat hangers, and I wanted to make all the projects that Noakes made on Blue Peter. It's funny how things spark your imagination. So that's that wing done. Put this one in place. Just hold it for a second or two. Now I've struggled to get that sticker all the way around the rib, and there's a little bit of exposed foam on the inside of the rib, which will be totally invisible, but it's worth bearing in mind that you start the wrap so the outer edge is the one that's fully covered. Happy with them. They've produced the desired effect. So I need to do the brace part now. Find where I've put the pieces. Well, I need a plastic part for the brace. That needs to be cut out. And it's actually labelled brace somewhere on here. I've seen it. Brace, there we go. This of course doesn't need any stickers on it because it's inside the fuselage. And I've just found the part I'm looking for. So that's the actual brace itself. And these are the ribs that you glue together. I'll glue the front, I'll glue this plastic strengthener on first. And for that I'm using this flat side of the spatula, dental tool, to spread the adhesive. Contact adhesive is the way I'm going to use it. Smear a thin layer all over. Try not to get it all over the and a little bit on the plastic brace. Now John does suggest that he strengthens this up with some foam safe CA. Well, I don't have any at the moment, so that's a job. I'll get some at the weekend. I'll get some next time I'm out, and I'll strengthen this before the cover goes on. So that's those two parts made, and this needs to be split and then they're glued together. Glue those together now. I must admit I'm finding the making of this kit, because it's so different to anything I normally do, extremely relaxing. By comparison, I'm borrowing my son's multi-tool so I can hack the front off the cowl of the Fokker D7, and it's a much bigger project, much bigger, messier build. Let them dry a second. Doesn't take long to start going off. Brace done. Fold this over and it should be done. And then one glues into the other. Like so. It's not going to push on very well, so I'm just going to leave that a second till it goes off properly. And then we'll glue this together. I'm assuming, yeah, I'm assuming that, yeah, that goes through there. Yes, that does. And then the whole thing will be, I'll weigh this down with a little bit of some slight weight. But I have to get the rib support on as well, let's see. Just going to sand the bottom of this flat. I think it needs just a smidgen. Out so that it'll slide over. That's not going to do it. Must be on here that it's catching. That's it. So if I glue that in place, don't know how well white against white shows up. Sometimes you have to fettle the parts. By fettling I mean just removing a little bit of the burr or sanding a little bit of the excess off. So we'll glue this onto here now. We'll leave that to set. Then the next time we'll be offering it up to the fuselage. Well, there we have the wing installed. That was pretty trouble-free. No major hiccups there. I had actually jumped ahead of myself a little by thinking that the electronics would go into day. In fact, I have to make the undercarriage